Out of my way!
Mission complete. Great job.
Having completed preparations.
Okay guys, so for the build that you just saw on the video, this is it. I'm using Thunder Cage because my reactor is with Thunder Cage condition. So you can use whatever weapon as well, but you know you should have the Thunder Cage equipped, or whatever weapon is required from your reactor. But in my case is the Thunder Cage, and the Thunder Cage you get for free, so you know most people will have this one, and it's very nice weapon. So the build that I'm using for it is it's a crit based build, so it's firearm crit hit damage, the better concentration, then better insight for crit hit rate, recycling genius for reload time modifier. And the reason why I'm using this is because I'm using concentration priority for crit hit damage, but also gives you 30% less reload time. And in order to mitigate this, I'm using the reload time, the recycling genius. So basically it negates itself, like this is plus 30%, this is minus 30%, the net result is 0%, right? Then I'm using edging shot for more crit hit rate. This is the concentration stabilizer for mainly for the recoil, minus 30%. That's not because the weapon have some crazy recoil, but it has some recoil. And then on top of that, I'm using the action and reaction, which further increases the recoil, and I don't like that. So to negate that, I'm using the concentration stabilizer, and I find it very nice when you are fighting intercept bosses, that you know the less recoil have, the better when you are hitting the weak points. And then finally rifling reinforcement for the firearm attack. Now it's not fully built, and I can't fully build it yet, although I have the catalysts, but I don't want to use them because, as you can see, the for example the enhancements, geo enhancement, toxic and fire enhancement, they all have different polarities than the electric enhancement. So I have to choose a specific one and stick to that. And the bad thing is that if I change the loadout, the polarity stays the same. So I cannot use different builds for different bosses, right? Because every boss requires different element, and I'm screwed if I polarize this. Now, the other mod that I want to use here is the expand weapon charge, which gives you more magazine, rounds per magazine. However, even if I polarize this slot now, I still won't be able to equip it because, you know, I will have just 2 free capacity, and this will become 8. So I need 6 more, which I don't have. And in order to get this, I have to first polarize this one. If I polarize this one, I'm screwed because, again, I cannot change to the other elements, and I'm using this weapon for everything in the game, bossing, moving, everything, because I have to yet to farm another good weapon to use for either mobbing or bossing. So until that, I cannot fully build the Thunder Cage. Anyway, for the bunny, I'm using this reactor. Now it doesn't really matter what weapon you're using, but most probably it would be Thunder Cage, so it's better to be Thunder Cage. And if you want it to be a specifically Thunder Cage, you will have to grind a lot. I grinded 4 hours just for this reactor. 4 hours. The reason why is it's not like that after 4 hours it dropped for Thunder Cage. No, there were many for Thunder Cage, but as you can see on the bottom, it gives me skill crit hit rate and skill crit hit damage, and the bunny build is skill crit damage. So it's a must to have this too, and you want both to be at least purple. Ideally both would be yellow, but you want at least one to be purple and the other to be, or both to be purple. You know, that's fine, because the difference between the purple and the yellow is 2%. I think the lowest or something like that. The lowest, I think, border for the purple is 29% or maybe 28 something, and the yellow starts from 30% above. So the difference really might not be that huge. If you get it like 29%, that's good enough. But yeah, you have to grind a lot for this specific. Now if you don't have specifically the crit hit rate and damage, the second best is this one, the crit hit and skill effect range, which will increase your range of your third ability, but you will lose substantial amount of damage. And the skill crit hit rate as purple is absolute must. You can sacrifice probably, if we are talking about mobbing and farming, not bossing, you can probably sacrifice the crit damage, but you cannot sacrifice the crit hit rate, and it has to be purple at least. So that's for the reactor. For the components, I'm using the Supernova set. You can farm this set from the executioner on hard mode, and the unique effect of this is that when you hit an enemy, it will, the executioner, his ability, that starts firing thunderbolts from the sky to you, right? And it wipes everyone. You can do the same if you collect this set. You can actually use his ability, this boss ability, and you can see what it does. It procs these thunders that falls from above when the enemies are electrocuted. And you have, when you electrocute an enemy, you have 50% chance to trigger this thunderbolt, and they will be electrocuted from your third ability. And this does actually like 100k damage or 90k damage, as you can see, like, yeah, almost around 90k damage when it crits. So that's nice. For now, you want specific stats. It's not like just grind whatever components of the Supernova and put it there. No, you want this with max HP as yellow. That is a must. I can tell you the difference because I'll show you the modules of the bunny in a second, but the difference between the purple and the yellow is like 400 or 500 HP. And I'm not saying that, the final HP of your character, as you can see, mine is 8100. The purple is around 600 or 600 something. Let's say it's around 650. This, let's say, is 850, right? This 200 difference is actually 400 or 500 final because of the modules that I'm using, but I'll show you that in a second. So the difference is huge between the purple and the yellow, and you want this with yellow. You have to grind for yellow. And the other stats would be MP recovery in combat or out of combat, it doesn't matter, but this is the best install that you can get. Then for the sensor, you want max MP and MP recovery in combat or out of combat. I'm not sure if you can roll out of combat, but these are the stats that you want. Here you want double defense, and the second defense should be yellow and some resistances. It doesn't matter if the resistances are purple, blue, yellow, it really doesn't matter, but the defense should be yellow range. And then here you want max shield and shield recovery, and again try for the max shield to be yellow. The other, anything else that you can roll except max shield is even more useless. So this is the best you can get. So these are the stats that you can get, the reactor. Now let's go to the modules. Because this is a crit build for the third ability, as you can see with this, I have crit hit rate on my skills around 33%, and the crit damage is 3x. But you also want to focus on survivability, because Bunny is a glass cannon. She's so squishy, it's very easy to die. You can easily get 1 or 2 shots, especially from bosses. It's really important to maximize HP as possible, and it's very difficult on her to scale HP if you want to use the Supernova, right? But even if you use other normal components with HP, you won't scale the HP as much as on the many other characters. Like that's her gimmick. She's just a glass cannon. But anyway, for the skills, for the modules, I'm using the high voltage. Now this reduces the number of enemies that your first and third ability can hit. It doesn't but increases your damage and range. The range, it increases it by 2 meters on your third ability, and the damage increase is around 150-160k, which is a lot, right? It's definitely worth it, this mod. And the number, it doesn't tell you the number of the enemies that you can hit, but the number is 3, and I can show you this. So for example, if we go here, you can see that I'm hitting just 3 of them, right? The 4th one I cannot hit because that's the maximum. It's 3 mobs that you can hit with this, and you don't have this AoE right around, you know, the pulses of the third ability. No, you cannot clear the entire map or something like that. With this, you have to run to the mobs and just, you know, do this. But the thing is that you will do around, on average, it's like 500 or 600k damage per hit. So you will do much more damage with this, and I find it really more enjoyable because I can clear things as fast as the other one, but the damage is so much better, and especially on bosses. And I'm not saying only intercept bosses. No, I'm mainly talking about, you know, bosses for the these missions that give you the patterns, the outpost bosses, the amorphous materials, the missions that you saw me running in the beginning of the video, right? These final bosses, it's very important to maximize damage and maximize single target. If you're not using high voltage, it will be very difficult to kill these bosses, and you can still clear everything in seconds. So it's no brainer to get the high voltage, in my opinion. But if you want to just, you know, clear the entire map and you're not playing bosses, then high voltage is, you know, not beneficial for that purpose, obviously. But anyway, so you also want to maximize your skill cost. As you can see, the cost of my second ability is almost 2 times less. It's actually 2 times less. And with this, you can see that I can actually run like crazy amount of time, and my MP just stays. I can run forever, really. And the mobs will drop MP on the ground when they're killed. Not all the time, but you know, it would be decent. Most of the time you would be able to run through the entire mission with this. So for this we are using the strong mentality and maximize conservation. Again, you're getting, okay, you're getting minus 20% skill power modifier, but again, you don't really care because you still have 230% skill modifier, and you don't want to scale further your skill power modifier on Bunny anyway, because I tested this. If you go focus on singular increases your skill power modifier, right? If you use focus on electric, it increases your skill power. What does skill power means? Exactly as this electric skill power boost, right? It's exactly as the reactor. It gives you your base damage on your abilities that is further multiplied or scaled by this modifier. So the higher base you have, the more damage you do from the modifier, right? for example, having 10k damage amplified by 230%, or having 220k damage amplified by 230% would be more than if you amplify 10k damage by 250%. So that's why I'm using electric skill power and not the modifier. And on top of that, this gives you skill cooldown. And time distribution gives you more skill cooldown and max HP, which is, you know, the point is to make her able to survive 1 or 2 shots, you know, and things like that. So then we are using more HP and skill duration. Now with this, with the skill cooldown here, and the skill cooldown here, and the skill duration here, we can have 17 seconds cooldown, and the duration of the third ability is almost 22 seconds, which means that by the time the skill gets out of the cooldown, it will still be running, it will still be active, and you can just, you know, constantly have your third ability up. So then for the yes, I already mentioned it, so I'm using skill insight for the crit hit rate, because again it's a crit build. Emergency measure, which gives you skill hit rate and skill crit hit damage. The only defensive, like the defensives are the time distribution, battle stamina, increased defense and increased HP, and front lines for more crit hit damage and crit hit rate. So that's the mobbing build. For the bossing build that I just showed you on the Devourer, this is what I'm using. I'm just putting more crit hit damage. With this, I have almost 4.5x crit damage, whereas here we have 3x. But you have to remove something, because, you know, this is not the correct polarity here. So I'm just removing the strong mentality and maximize, no, and battle stamina. Yes. So, and I'm running this. It now with the with this build, the build that I'm using for most of the game, I have 8k HP and 36k defense. But the thing that I see most people complain about Bunny is, you know, Nerf Bunny, because she's, you know, clearing everything and we don't get to play. But what people don't understand, in my opinion, is that she's a glass cannon. It's extremely difficult to get her to this. If you are trying to maximize her damage potential, which you should, you know, I'm not using weapon. The idea of this character, right? The design of this character is so that you can play it just with her second and third ability, maybe her fourth ability. By the way, her fourth ability is very useful in the obstructor fight, you know, because you can free your teammates there very efficiently with her fourth ability. You can damage the boss with her fourth ability. Her fourth ability is very, very useful, and it's used quite a lot by many people in the fight with the obstructor intercept boss. And her first ability is useless, but anyway, that's the point with her. She's not meant to be played with guns anyway, and because of that, she's a glass cannon. It's extremely difficult to scale her HP. She's very squishy, and she relies on the fact that she's mobile, she's fast, and she does damage. You know, that's her gimmick. She's just a glass cannon running around trying to kill the enemies as fast as possible before they can kill her, because she's just very squishy. And the other thing is, like they say, she's just clearing everything and it's very easy. Yes, but they're trash mobs, right? It doesn't matter if they're hard mode or normal mode, they're trash mobs. If we're not talking about the bosses, the final bosses, and not just the intercept bosses, the final bosses in the missions, right? The ones with the invulnerability bows. Everything else is supposed to get melted, and just not by Bunny. I mean, every character in the game should be able to melt the trash mobs. That's the point of the game. That's the point of the game of any looter shooter. And if you played Warframe, it's the same thing. Every character should be able, because that's the point of the game. You're collecting loot to build your character to the point that you can clear the trash mobs efficiently to collect more loot. And like, if you nerf her, if you nerf her third ability, what would be the point of her? Why would people play her? Like, that's her entire point. That's her entire design. And to complain that she's killing everyone, just build your character and you would be able to kill everything as well. Build your weapon, you know, a launcher can decimate everything. Trash mobs, I mean, right? Because she's not one-shotting bosses. I mean, you can build her to one-shot bosses. But to build her to one-shot bosses, you maximize everything on damage. She will be on 1k HP or 1.5k HP at best, you know, almost no defense. She will be around 11 or 14k defense, and that would be it. No resistances, 1.5k HP, 14k defense, and that would be just for bossing. And the thing is that with these stats, because that's how people kill the Devourer in 10 seconds. But the thing is that if you don't kill it in 10 seconds, and if he hits you once, you're dead. And you cannot run such builds that, you know, melts the intercept bosses on normal missions. You cannot, just the moment you spawn and the first mob sees you, shoots you, you're dead. You're just dead. On hard mode, you'll be just dead. You'll be just one shot from the first mob that sees you. There's no way that you can play, you know, intercept bossing builds in the normal content of the game. That you'll be just one shot all the time, 100% of the time. You won't even get to play. So that's the point of her. That's my point. That, I mean, if you nerf her, no one would be using her anyway, because she won't be, you know, she won't be different than just another character with gun. Like that's it. That's my opinion. Really. But anyway, oh yeah, just one last thing. I'm using the long distance maneuvering. Now why I'm using this is because it allows you to, if you time it like this. Okay, I haven't activated this, but you can just do this. And you can, basically the faster you move, the more procs of the third you hit. And you get the point, right? But it's very useful when you hook from very distant to, like, from distant point to mobs. Like, for example, if there are mobs there and you hook here with your third ability, let me see. Okay, no, I cannot there because it doesn't allow you. But anyway, you can hook and do this, and yeah, I'm still not that good with it, but you get the point that you can damage them so much more. So yeah, this is what you want to do. but it's quite difficult. So that's the reason why I'm using this, and also it's it increases your range of the hook. It increases the cooldown as well, but I really like this playstyle. So, and I find that the distance to me is more important than, you know, the cooldown. And yeah, that's all basically. So thanks for watching, and I'm out.